Welcome, everyone, to VO in Stereo. I am Jared Breshers, your host, along with co-host Stephen Coghill. And everyone, please help me welcome Phenom recording engineer, amazing automotive demo master, Cliff Zellman.
Hey, guys. Thank you. Oh, breaking up a busy day. It's great to be here, and thanks for having me.
Oh, I miss the sound of your voice like every day.
Oh, good Lord. Give me I wish my wife felt the same way.
Hey, mine too. Thanks so much for being on. Tell us how you've been, and then we're going to hand it over to Stephen for some questions.
Well, it's been very, very busy. Even with COVID going on and all the crazy things, people are taking time to reevaluate and readjust and work on themselves. And I've been very fortunate to be able to help some of our fine colleagues do just that. So what else has been going on? Scared to death about the fires. I have a lot of friends in Oregon, absolutely, living in Sandy and Gresham. So I'm keeping an eye on them and a prayer on them.
It's crazy.
But other than that, I mean, work has been terrific. Home life is great, and all good.
Awesome.
Gotta be thankful for that.
Yeah.
Well, Cliff, we're so happy to have you here.
Thank you.
My first question to you, open up things, is where did you grow up?
I grew up in the San Fernando Valley. I was born and released from Temple Hospital, which is no longer there. And my cross streets were, if anybody's familiar with the Valley, which I'm sure a lot are, was Van Nuys Boulevard in Magnolia, Burbank, Ventura. I went to Kester Elementary and Van Nuys Junior High School and Van Nuys High School and cruising on Wednesday night. And I was very lucky. You know, if anything written on my tombstone, it would be right place, right time. And growing up in the San Fernando Valley from the 60s to the 80s was absolutely paradise. And I mean, it's still cool, but it's, very, very different from what it was. So, yeah, I grew up in the Valley. I'm a Valley boy.
Nice. Yes. I was just there before the whole craziness in February.
Whereabouts?
I was in LA at the little video game conference out there before the whole COVID thing took over.
Ugh.
Yeah, I know.
No, it's easy to get to. We were going 4 or 5 times a year. I have family. My wife has family there. So we're certainly no strangers. But every time we go, it's a little bit different. Oh, I don't recognize that. Or what used to be on this corner? Was this always it's a little shift, a little kind of Twilight Zone-y, because it can be, 6 months between trips. And, so I've been in Dallas since 95. The 94 earthquake kind of woke us up and made us look for a new place to live. And my brother lived here for 8 years before.
Were your parents creatives?
My father was a piano player, and every night growing up, after dinner, me, my mom, my brother, we'd clean the table, we'd bucket brigade, and Pop would go into the music room and play the piano. When we were done cleaning the kitchen, we'd all go in and listen to Pop for about 45 minutes, an hour, and we'd all be talking and carrying on. He didn't care, but we were all together and we listened to him play. And I don't think he's learned anything post 8 misbehaving, but didn't matter, and great. And one thing about my dad is, being a guitar player myself, I really wanted to play with him. But he was always in his own groove, changing tempos constantly, and it was impossible to follow along. Very stylized, and every chord had a riff on it, and every note had a riff on the end, going up and going down. Great fun. He stopped playing. He just reached 92.
Wow.
God bless him, and hasn't played in about a year. Fingers. We bought him a little synthesizer that would be easier to play, but no. Plastic keys doesn't work. Springs don't work.
Gotta tickle the ivories.
But I was fortunate enough. His birthday, maybe 10 years ago, 12 years ago, I took him down to what was the name of the studio here in Dallas? Not Rusk. Anyway, I'll remember. And I booked 3 hours, and I called the studio before, and I said, I'm bringing in my dad. I loved the piano. They had a Yamaha C9. I think it was a 9-foot piano. Beautiful. I said, tune the piano, an hour before we come, make sure everything is good. I'm sitting my pop down. I'm hitting a 2-track machine. I want 5 reels of 1/4-inch tape. We're letting it run. I think I had a DAT man at the time, and I was running a DAT man live. So my father played for 3 hours, and I have on CD Very, Very Jerry. So I'm very happy about that.
That's awesome.
And I'm sure in 10 years from now, when I listen to it, and it'll be rough, but I'm glad that I'm going to have it. Oh, yeah.
You're glad you took the time to do that.
Oh, yeah, because it's everything. I mean, there's like 40, 50 selections on there. Funny thing is I never really noticed until I started to edit this project that everything is in the key of F. Imagine listening for an hour of every single song is in the key.
Did he transpose? Did he transpose everything in F?
I figure now that's the only key he could play in and do all the cool little riffs. I mean, he knew all those riffs in F. So, I don't know piano that well. I can certainly play, but I don't know the mathematics. If F happens to be a good key to riff in, I would assume it is because he was pretty good at it. So Mom had zero, not a musical bone in her body. And, but my brother is an incredible acoustic guitar player, finger picking, James Taylor type, Leo Kottke kind of player. So, yeah.
That's awesome. My other question was a follow-up question was, is that what basically got you into music? Was your dad and kind of inspiring you?
Yeah, that and album covers. I used to look at album covers and see the 1961, 62 Strats, and I would look at it and see the guitars and, oh my God, they're so beautiful. And I was walking home from school. I was in 4th grade, 5th grade, and it was trash day. And there was a neck sticking out of a trash can. And I pulled it out. And I've told this story before, so if anybody hears it, ignore, just fast forward. There was a hole in the back, and obviously a spouse got mad and probably, and Elka bonged whoever the owner was of the guitar. So I took it home and I duct taped it all up and I tried to make it work, and strings were this high off the neck and the thing exploded after a week, and my parents felt bad. So they bought me my first guitar at Fedco, and that was a Teosco Del Rey that I absolutely fell in love with. And I think the love of the instrument, the respect of the instrument is really what got me to love music. And I would look at the guitars and I'd look at catalogs and 10, 12 years old, I'd be drooling. So I think that sparked the addiction,
Yes, so your dad had quite the record collection that you would sift through.
Tape, reel to reel. And I still have his entire collection, but everything's like 1 7/8.
Yeah.
And and you'd actually flip the tape to hear the other side. So it's basically unplayable. I can't find a machine that, I'd have forward and backward at the same time, and it'd be twice normal speed, because I think 3 3/4 is whatever the speed is, 3, 7, 5, whatever's between 1, 3, 7, 15, and 30. I can't play it, but I have them all. And some of the lists are great, the Ink Spots, Trini Lopez, some old great jazz calypso stuff. But I would say that my dad was really my main influence. Is I want to do this.
And did you have musical influences? Did you gravitate towards a certain type of music when you were growing up, or was it kind of?
All music, because my parents played music all the time. I mean, I was always listening to the original Broadway recording of this or West Side Story, whatever was on. But I think what really sparked it, and again, back to the album covers, was Alice Cooper. I mean, I was a little older at the time, but when I saw what these guys were doing and the style and the image that they created, as bizarre as it was, and it was an image, that was a big influence. Early progressive rock, early Genesis and Yes and Gentle Giant and all that stuff, listening to Steve Howe, trying to emulate that. Robin Trower, trying to emulate that stuff. Those are my influences, mainly guitar players, Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Yeah, he's awesome.
The Hacks, the
Hacks. Right.
Yeah, bunch of nobodies.
Never heard of him.
Mahavishnu was a big influence too. I think Steve Howe was probably the single biggest influence.
Yeah, he was a lot of people's influence, I think, back then.
Yeah,
he was a very influential guitar player.
Yeah, certainly. The way he attacked songs and added so much to what was going on musically. And also on the other side of the spectrum, a minimalist guitarist that I really love is Neil Young. Little stuff that he does sitting in the back, Skunk Baxter sitting in the back, just doing this amazing stuff that nobody even knows what they're doing. Yeah.
So that's what, that's great. That's what drew you to music. And did you, and how did that kind of shape you to kind of find a direction in music and want to get involved in music?
Well, the Monkees, huge influence. Okay. I wanted to be Peter Tork.
Okay.
So my friends got together, made a band, tried at 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th grade, started to get better and better and better. Got a very low budget independent album deal when I was like 16 or 17 with my band. We ended up releasing The Engineer because he was a bit incompatible, I should say. And I ended up kind of sitting behind the board and taking over. And then I got a job with the studio, and I was with them for about 17 years. I realized, I'm okay guitar. I'm great at the campfire with a bunch of kids and stuff. But I do much better on the other side of the glass. I can communicate with musicians. I can communicate with singers. But technically, I realized I'm not going to make it. I mean, people were coming in the 80s, guys coming out of Guitar Institute of Technology, GIT, I'm sure you've heard of it. It's unbelievable guitar. I mean, I could never do that stuff. And unless I'm just going to be a jangle guitar player, I'm not going to make it. So I got very comfortable in the studio. And I guess maybe it started with just hooking up guitar boxes.
Yeah, that's what was going to be my follow-up question, was how did you learn the gear and be comfortable with it?
I would say in Dave's garage, rehearsing in Dave's garage and having every Friday and Saturday night, the garage door would open. We'd have the party. We'd be playing, getting the sound that I was looking for, from the boxes that were available, whether it be old MXR boxes, learning how a dynamic compressor works, just having the box there and hearing it. And then emptying a lot of ashtrays, vacuuming a lot of hallways, cleaning a lot of toilets, stocking a lot of refrigerators, for a couple of years in big studios in LA, and trying to keep my mouth shut. Eventually after a couple of years, they let me wrap the cables, so that's, hey, I'm promoted now. I was actually promoted to receptionist.
You got to cut your teeth somewhere.
That was cool. I was talking to everybody that called. I was talking to all the producers, all the artists, all the managers, record people. Yeah, it's a good place to be. Again, right place at the right time.
So where did that lead you?
That led me to another studio that gave me a lot more freedom. Was there for 3-4 years. The chief engineer left to start his own studio. They made me the chief engineer. I was there for 13 and a half years, maybe 14, about 13 and a half years.
Wow.
Great thing about being the house chief engineer, and the horrible thing about being the house chief engineer, is that you get what comes through the door. Some brilliant people and artists came through the doors of Fidelity Studios, and some psychos came through the door. It was fun, because we were a smaller kind of boutique studio. We didn't have the huge album projects. That was at the studio that I originally cut my teeth at, where I was vacuuming. In fact, very quick story, I was doing tape inventory, 2-inch tape, 1/4-inch tape, all that stuff in the library. The wall on the other side was Steve Lukather recording the guitar solo to Hold the Line.
Wow.
And my ear is to the door, and my knees are shaking. I'm like, oh my God. I couldn't be in the control room. They wouldn't let me in, but but I was in the tape library, and his amp was right up against the wall. And so, but at Fidelity was great because the owner of the studio, God bless him, let us do whatever we wanted. We had to make a certain amount of money just to keep the lights on and to get paid. Artie owned the studio, and his credo was be creative. That was it. That was the underlying rule. Do something different. Be creative. And I asked him, we had a piece of gear called a Publison Infernal 90. Stephen, you may or may not have heard of that.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, fabulous. It was a 5-second 16-bit sampler that was triggerable. So we'd get a drum loop, and we'd put a little mic on the end of a drumstick and put it in there. And we'd have the loop. It sounded great. So I leaned over to Artie for, I said, how do you want me to start with the vocals? And we were working on a song. He goes, why don't you just stick in the Publison and fly it around for a while? Now, this was the creative mind of the producer. Stick it in the Publison and fly it around for a while.
Okay.
My job as the engineer to interpret what he just said, but I knew what he was talking about. Add a little delay, add a little reverb, put a little delay on either side, make it move. And that was him. He was great. All he wanted was everybody that was there to love what they do and be creative at what they do. So that was a blessing. But there were no restrictions. It was creativity first. You want to stay up all night working on the perfect snare drum reverb, go for it. He gave us a lot of internal projects to do. It was also a publishing company. So I was cutting a lot of demos for songwriters. And it was wonderful. I left that in 95. From 90 to 90, while at the same time I was doing a lot of recording for Saturday morning cartoons, and I was doing stuff for Deke and Saban and Disney and bouncing around the studios, and that was good. A lot of pressure, very, very different from rock and roll, going into a situation like that. Then got hooked in with an advertising agency back in 95 here in Dallas, and moved here, raised 2 kids. And for the last 24 years, it has been automotive advertising, tier 3 and tier 2. What a blessing, because it's still rock and roll because it's automotive, and I don't have to work on the perfect hi-hat for 3 days, I get to use all of my production skills, all my Pro Tools skills. Sometimes the biggest challenge of my day is how I'm going to get all the spots out by 6 o'clock. But it's great. It's great. And since 2000, I've been working out of my home studio.
That's a blessing.
Yeah. Radio Vision was 60 miles one way. So I was driving 2 hours a day to work, 5 years. And I said, you know what? I will give you 40 hours of production more a month. No charge. How can you do that? Let me move my studio home. Can you? Absolutely. We hooked up ISDN. Good to go. I had DJI come in and drop one of their computers next to me and sending directly to the traffic director right out of my living room. And then the technology snowballed.
That's amazing.
And in came Source Connect and IPDTL, and then came Zoom, and then came COVID, and now everybody's home. It's great. It's where we need to be. I'll tell you, I feel sorry for the guys that own the leasing properties.
Yeah.
Oh man, the brick and mortars.
When you step back and see who's really going to get hit with this, I think it's going to be them. I think it's the guys that own the A buildings and the B buildings that have 1,500 suites. Everybody moved out, and everybody's.
It's the hotel industry. It's the wedding industry. It's
well, my wife works for an iBuyer, and they're aggressively buying properties because of their cost of properties are going down. It's a crazy business, and it's not always a happy business.
No, it's not. I think that the weddings are going to come back. The hotel's obviously going to come back, but people working at home, they're going to dig it. They're going to say, this is cool. I like working at home. I don't want to come back.
Do all this from home?
Yeah. Wow. And I can wear a nice shirt on the top and have my swimming trunks and barefoot on the bottom. And y'all can't tell unless I actually stand up, and I will not.
You guys are wearing bottoms?
Yeah. Yeah, have to. I have a daughter.
Right.
Yeah. The wife doesn't care, but daughter would probably.
It's a family show. I get it.
Yeah, I don't want to end up on a TikTok video.
Oh, God.
So how in the world did you move from doing audio and engineering bands to doing voiceover and becoming the automotive?
Well, in 1988, 89, I got involved with CBS, and they had 4 major TV shows. They had China Beach, Beauty and the Beast, Dallas, the TV show, and one more. I did say China Beach. I forgot the fourth one. And they were doing soundtracks. So they were taking the stars from the show and putting music and making a musical soundtrack of the show. And China Beach was, their style of music. Beauty and the Beast was classical. I was on the Beauty and the Beast. I was working with Ron Perlman, and he did all of this poetry, beautiful stuff from Wordsworth and Shakespeare and Rilke and great stuff. And I was recording his dialogue. And then slowly within, this all happened at that time. And then I started to get involved, like I said earlier, with the animation. And I started to just fall in love with the ad lib and the actors, and having them 6 in a semicircle with 6, 421s all lined up. And I'm sitting there throwing faders, reading the scripts. And the talent, the superstars of today were the guys that, I was working with back in the late 80s and early 90s. And when I came to Dallas, my brother lived here for 8 years beforehand. So we would come and visit every maybe 6 months. And like I said earlier, with the earthquake in 94, my house was the black dot on the map, and FEMA came in and said, wow, when they looked at my house, which is not a good thing. So we moved to Dallas, and again, getting hooked up with Radio Vision. I got less from producing music tracks, using really good library beds, and focusing more on script creation, directing the voice talent, editing the voice talent for the takes, and mixing and mastering the spots. So no, I'm not doing kick drum, snare drum, hi-hat, left-right overheads, bass direct. It's still hardcore engineering, so I don't feel like I'm missing anything, and I'm actually much happier because I'm not doing midnight sessions. I'm not doing bass overdubs at 4 a.m. and having the producer ask my second engineer to make coffee at 3:30 in the morning, So it was a very natural transition. I mean, I'm an old guy. I don't want to do rock and roll anymore. I really don't. I don't want to. I've had offers from people that I knew back in the day. Hey, Cliff, man, come fly to LA. We'll mix my record. I'd rather you fly me to LA and we go out to dinner. We'll go get a, Cupid's dog or something. We'll go to Killer Shrimp. But so because it was such a good transition for me, and it was so easy for me, to lock in and really focus on the voice talent. And then getting involved in FAFCON way back in the day, and just meeting wonderful people and being involved in VO Atlanta and the other things that I, choose to jump into have always been great. And it's you guys are the ones that keep me here,
Well, I can honestly say, not to even interrupt, but I've had the pleasure of working with you at Biointensity. And it's very rock and roll. It's not for the faint of heart. And
it's not.
You work, and people are like, oh, they're just saying that. I'm like, nah, dude, you work. You got a bunch of grown men and women in there working, and Cliff has got a big smile on his face going, oh, sweetheart, we're not even started yet. Buck up. Come on. It's time to go.
I hand out the moist towelettes.
It's
everybody
great.
Can kind of wipe there. Yeah, it's fun.
Flop sweat off.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I'm destroyed for the next 3 days. My wife won't even talk to me for a week when I come home from Atlanta. You know, I'm like this. She says, I can't even talk to you. I can't even talk to you.
Hello, honey.
I'm back. Yeah, we all missed this year's, you know.
Oh man, yeah.
You know what? It was the right thing to do.
Yeah,
Do it next year. It'll be fine.
absolutely.
A lot of online stuff is coming in to take over, done great jobs. You know, a lot of stuff out there that people normally had to do face to face is certainly available online, and from what I've seen and read, has been very effective, and you know, people have really loved it. So
Yeah,
and there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah, I was thinking about that earlier. I was thinking that, even when it does kind of, the COVID goes away, I mean, we are going to be at a new normal. Normal, that's just a word anyway, but people learn, like you said, that they can do it remotely. I think we'll have conferences in person, but I still think there will be a lot more to the online aspect of every conference, if not having still maybe some online conferences like they had in the past, where maybe it's a little bit more predominant.
Yeah, maybe, you know, the big boys will always be there.
Oh yeah,
and we'll always be jumping into those, you know, but the smaller, you know, maybe the groups of 10 or 12, you know, like there have been, are going to be more focused. But either way, you know, certainly the VO industry is healthy. I see, you know, being an automotive, you know, I watched what happened April, May, June, July. And those that want to stay in the public eye, that want to stay top of mind, keep their advertising going. And the neat thing about COVID is that we've really mellowed out our spots now. And a lot of dealerships are offering things that they probably should have been offering for the last 20 years anyway. And one of them is pickup and delivery of a car that needs service. I've always thought that would be such a selling factor. How many times have, you know I personally have had a car back in the day that needed repair, but I couldn't afford to get a tow truck. You have to tie the rope around your buddy's car and you're, whoa, you're accordion all the way, you know, and 2.5 blocks seems like an eternity, you know, but, you know, they get, you know, they hired Jim and you know what, tack it onto the price of the bill. Don't tell me you're doing it, but at least offer this service. And car seats, you know, all kinds of things are going on, but we're not being yelled at quite that much. And women own automotive now, you know, which is wonderful, which has been a dream of mine for 15 years. There was a guy that was talking to a coach, and I heard they reported back to me. I thought it was kind of cute. He was talking to his coach, and he says, "Hey, I'm really interested in getting into automotive." The guy says, "Coach says, forget it. It's all women." It's like, what? What? Automotive is all women? Oh my God. But it's great. You know, women buy cars. Well, they should.
It's true.
You know? So yeah.
But how did you get from directing sessions and doing, you know, writing scripts to then becoming talent?
Oh, I rarely voice.
Okay.
Rarely. I voice when I absolutely have to. If they need a California surfer guy, if they need somebody to go, what? I'll get that job. Oh, dude, I'll get that job. If it's a F-150 spot, I got to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. You know? But I've only got that for about 20 minutes, so I got to knock that out real quick. Done. I prefer, and 99% of everything that I do comes from you guys. You know, comes from voice talent. I got plenty to do. You know, if I'm going to voice, I'm going to get obsessive, and it's going to take me 5 times as long as it should.
So you prefer to coach and get.
I prefer to send you a script and you read me something awesome, and then I cut it up and send it to my client. That's the retail side. That's the production side. On the coaching side, I don't really coach because there's a lot of great coaches out there. That's for sure. But I will coach extensively during the demo process. Okay. If somebody's interested in doing a demo, I will run them through 3, maybe 4 spots, no charge. I just, you know, you read it. I don't give any direction. I want to know, what are you going to bring to the mix? You know, what do we need to focus on? If I have coached with somebody, I'm telling them what to say. I'm telling them how to say it. That doesn't really help. You know, at this stage of the game, it certainly helps in the beginning, but at this stage of the game, I want to see what they're going to bring. These scripts are basically auditions. What is it going to, what do you sound like when you send it out to somebody and everything came from your head and your heart? Then after those 4 spots, we discuss, you want to move on, or maybe I'll offer a coach, somebody that I know that could maybe fill a gap. I've got maybe 3-4 coaches that I really like, and I'll send them over for a couple of months, say, now's not the time for the day. You're close, but let's get this thing to work for you. Go work with them for a little bit. I stay in contact with the coach. They'll come back. We talk about it. I'll send them another script. Holy cow, good job. Let's jump in. So during the demo process, that's when really extensive coaching comes in. And I know, some people think, well, that's, maybe too late, but it's really not. Because the demo is really kind of your blueprint of how you should approach automotive. I do national spots. I do tier 2 spots. I do regional tags. I'll do local spots. I will do the midline read. The guy with the red polo shirt and the beige pants walking through the dealership talking about sign and drive. Come on in for sign and drive. It's not hard sell. It's not soft sell. It's just enthusiastic. My demo process takes a while. It takes 5 days of recording. We record 1 spot per day. And then I usually give a weekend off to do some mixing and editing to see that elusive spot we're missing. And then I'll write that Sunday night and we'll do it on the following Monday. I spend a whole hour just on 1 segment within the demo, and I'll write like a whole script, 7, 8, 9 lines. And we work on that, and we work extensively. So it's fun. We spend a lot of time, that's for sure. Sometimes more than we probably should, but I get you guys like to talk as much as I do. So, yes, good Lord,
it's true. Don't get Jared started.
No, I know. I've sat outside.
Very quiet.
I'm doing my best. I talk with my hands.
My whole timeline basically boils down to just taking elements and putting them together. Be it musicians and music, be it Foley, be it sound design, be it demos, car spots, whatever. It's elements. And that's really what I like to do. I like to take things out of bags and put them together and create something.
Builder.
Yeah, build it.
I'm sure you like variety. You don't like to do the same thing all the time.
Oh boy, I sure did. I sure did.
I know you did growing up. I know you did, but I mean nowadays.
Yeah, I love variety. Yeah. And the neat thing is, automotive really allows you a lot of variety. The only people think all automotive is the same. It's not even close. The only thing that's the same is it's 4 tires and the steering wheel. But the personality of the car, the personality of the buyer, the time of year, whatever that car is suited for, whether there's a sale, whether there's incentives or rebates or whatever, there's always something.
Yeah.
And it changes up a lot.
And you direct like national as well as like local dealerships?
My specialty is local, and professionally has been local.
Okay.
I help with a lot of national auditions. But that's a world that I kind of stay away from, just with my rock and roll upbringing. I kind of want to have somebody come to me and say, hey, Cliff, do what you do. And I've been very fortunate to be able to sustain that. Working and I have done and sat in on quite a few throughout the years, national stuff. And I'm pretty quiet, I let the guys in the suits do all that stuff. There's a lot of contractual stuff going on. There's a lot of paperwork going on. Doesn't,
Stay away from that.
I'm in my room. I'm surrounded by my faders and my monitors and my instruments. That's where I like to be, and again, I've been really fortunate to be able to sustain that.
Yeah.
And as corporate as Radio Vision was, it was not at all. And Fidelity Studios was not at all. I've always been put in a place of do what you do, make it great.
That's awesome.
So yeah. And that's, I love that about demos too. That's one of the things I love. I can do whatever I want.
That's true.
As long as it's realistic. I always make sure that any offer within a demo is a realistic offer. Disclaimers are legitimate disclaimers. Prices are current prices of models.
Okay, well, that's interesting to know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought that you would even consider that. But
Oh, there's a lot.
Yeah.
I never use a year. It's always all new, fully redesigned. I used to think back in the day, if I heard an automotive demo from somebody, they send it to me unsolicited, and let's say it's 2018, and I hear a spot that they did 2014. I thought, well, okay, this guy's been doing it for a while. Now it just sounds outdated. Right now I drive a brand new 2016. So, dude, what have you done since 2016?
Right.
So
that
when I do demos, I never put dates on them.
Yeah.
And try to do cars that will be around for a while. I've actually had to go back, and I've called talent that I've worked on their demos, said, hey, they don't make this car anymore. Let's do a spot. I'll throw it in. I don't charge them extra. And write up a quick little spot. They'll record it, throw some music, boom, edit it in, take out the old one, put it in the new one. Try to stay current. It's important because there is so much competition. So staying current and staying legitimate, is important.
And so when you do these demos for people, it's not like they necessarily have jobs or things lined up. They use your demo to then try to land jobs.
50%.
Okay.
50%. A lot of what it is me doing demos for people so their agents and representation know that they can kill automotive. They want to be included in the automotive auditions. So unless you toot your horn and say, hey, Mr. Manager, Mr. Agent, check this out, wow. Okay. So sending out your demo to a automotive production company or a production company that specializes or focuses in automotive is definitely a target. There are dozens and dozens and dozens of them all across the country. They're not hard to find. If one would do a search, I would suggest not saying automotive advertising agencies in Los Angeles. I would suggest top 50 automotive advertising agencies in Google. That way, your first response will be a list. If you just say best automotive advertising agency in Dallas, whoever owns SEO is going to have the first 5 pages. So ask for a list right away by saying 50 best, 20 best, 100 best, 20 best ad agencies in Mesa, in Mesa, Arizona, wherever Mesa is. Well, Mesa's in Arizona, New Mexico. Yeah. One of those hot, dry, beautiful brown states. So that's a focus, automotive advertising agencies that do local automotive, cable stations. There's plenty of people. I'm a big fan of sending out unsolicited demos. People are going to say, oh, Cliff, no, don't say that. No. I say, send it to me. Let me hear it.
Roll, baby. Rock and roll.
Yeah, send it to me. Put your demo right in that email, man. Greetings, Mr. Zellman. I'm a professional voice talent. I do automotive. Check out my demo. There's 100% chance I'm going to listen to it. Especially if it's unsolicited, I don't have to respond. If it sucks, I don't have to respond. I get a little nervous when someone says, hey, Mr. Zellman, will you check out my demo? Will you please critique my demo and get back to me? I would love to. Now I have an assignment. Now I have a connection I have to make, or I'm a bad guy. So I'm a big fan of unsolicited demos. Shoot it in there. And if it's down there, and I'm going to root for you. I want it to be great. I want you to be the next voice. I want to discover.
Take note of this.
Right.
My girls are home. They're home from dinner. Good.
Nice.
I told them
we won't keep you too much longer.
No, keep me. They're fine. They went to Hakata. They're fine. They're fine.
Ooh, speaking of food, this is one of my favorite questions to ask. What is your comfort food, Mr. Cliff?
Oh my God, I got so many. Kentucky Fried Chicken, chicken pot pie.
Nice.
Is that one dish?
Just that one. I hate Kentucky Fried Chicken, but I love their chicken
that's
pot
a
pie.
Dish. Kentucky Fried Chicken.
It's literally a pot pie.
Yeah. You go to Kentucky, you drive through their window, you say, I want a number 9 with a Dr. Pepper. You get their chicken pot pie. It's outstanding. Stouffer's escalloped chicken and noodles, which is very, very good. Comfort food. Anything my wife makes.
Nice.
My wife is like the best. She went organic the last couple of months. So what she does is she's buying all these beans. She buys a ham hock. She cuts, and then she lets this, I don't know what she puts in it, but it is unbelievable. I could eat it every day for the rest of my life. It's like a ham and bean soup chili. But the number one, I would say Kentucky Fried Chicken. When I need some help. It's that chicken pot pie
crust and the chicken in my face.
But I got some bad news. They stopped making the potato wedges. And the potato wedges is what I would use to stab the crust with, smush it around, double dip because it's mine. I can do whatever I want. They took your
tools away.
Yeah, and so it's gone. And I wonder why. Well, maybe they're looking for a more healthy menu. People do not go to KFC for a healthy menu.
No, you should know better.
Yeah, there's plenty of places to go for healthy.
Yeah,
KFC
I'm not going to blame McDonald's for my problem. I'm smarter than that.
Yeah,
there's not a lot of
5 double Big Macs and a large Coke. I mean, a Diet Coke. I'm trying to save calories.
So, what's yours, Jared? What's your comfort food?
Oh, I'm a cook, man. So, my comfort food. Everyone loves my homemade chicken tenders. That seems to be everyone's favorite. Me personally, it would probably be a holiday meal, like the whole meal, that whole experience of getting up at 5 and cooking all day and then sitting down and everybody going, oh my God, and everybody acting like they're stuffed bears.
So Thanksgiving is your favorite holiday?
Yes. Thanksgiving.
Mine too. Thanksgiving is my
Dr. Pepper
favorite
glazed
holiday.
ham.
Oof.
Right?
Now I'm hungry.
Always good food served on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, and it's non-denominational. There's it's just let's get together. Everybody says
we always have an open door policy. We tell everybody all the time, if you don't have anywhere to go, please show up, because there's nothing worse than not having anyone. I mean, in fellowship and food, there's nothing wrong with that. You could put whatever differences you have to eat a meal. Jesus.
Yeah, everybody says what they're grateful for, and you get a minute, say thank you. Because we agree, I'm sure all three of us agree, if you don't have gratitude, you ain't going to be a happy person.
No.
That's true.
The number one thing you have to be happy is gratitude. I believe that.
I'm learning
in the VO industry, it pays to be nice.
Sure.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, go ahead.
But in the VO industry, it pays to be nice, doesn't it?
Yeah, sometimes it's hard, but it definitely. I think in any industry, it pays to be nice. The greats say, people forget what you say and what you do, but they remember how you make them feel. So, that's important. Hopefully, if I ever come off a bit much, I'll get a little break. I get excited. I'm passionate about it.
I hear you're pretty wild.
Yeah.
That's the word on the street.
Pretty wild, huh? I don't know. I got some good company. Ever sat in on an Everett Oliver session?
Oh, we do that at least once a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say.
That's wild.
I do that just about every day with him.
Yeah.
Everett is a regular.
Everett is a regular with us, so yeah.
Oh my gosh. I've been fortunate enough. He's come out to Dallas and done a couple of workshops, and I always kidnap him, and take him to one of my favorite places and get to sit there and have him all to myself for about an hour and a half.
That was me in LA back in February. We had a lot of fun.
Nice.
But that was like the last hurrah I had before all this COVID-19 crap started.
I know people would love coming to Dallas. We would have every couple of months, we'd have, a family member come on in.
Yeah.
Load them up.
We were going to do Camp VO in
Liz's thing.
That didn't happen either, so I was bummed out about that.
Yeah, she pulled out early. She was one of the first ones. She set the precedence to say, stop, guys. Let's think about what we're doing.
She did.
And let's all stick around through this year. And, unfortunately, some didn't.
Yeah.
But, the majority did. And I've always thought that, we're going to get out of this. It's not going to be, once we get the vaccine, once we get this over, because nothing was essentially broken. We all got electricity. We all got water. We all got freeways. We all got internet. Nothing's broken.
Right.
If the virus, which it won't, disappeared tomorrow, we would have no ramp up time. It would be like, remember the old Dick Tracy cartoons where the traffic's going and then the car goes by, everybody goes by and the car goes through, and then all the cars start going again. That's the red siren is COVID-19. And as soon as that thing goes, everything's going to be back. I don't know about the lease property, the office property, but I think everything else will. Restaurants will, hotels will.
No, are recording studios open? Are they operating?
I don't know, but I am seeing, yes, we are.
Okay.
And I'm seeing posts from people that said, hey, I just got back from a studio. And you know what? Everybody's playing by the rules that I see, at this level. Out in the rural, whatever, they do whatever. But, big city, professional world, even in professional world, even in our local Walmart, everybody's wearing masks.
Okay.
I went to get my haircut yesterday because I knew I was going to be out.
Yes.
I mean, I was looking like Emmett really Brown. I was looking like, Dr. Brown.
Yep.
So everybody was wearing masks. I was in and out. We didn't talk. We nodded a lot of thumbs up. Gave him a $10 tip. Figured I owe him a lot because I haven't had an haircut since April. I got 6 months of backlog tipping to do with all these people. Yeah. Jared, you don't have to worry about that. When you had you do a haircut in the shower, don't you?
My hair got scared when my children showed up, and it ran down my back, and it's never showed back up.
It went out for the pack of smokes and never came back.
It was like, I'm gonna get some milk. I'll see you guys in a little while.
Oh yeah. Mommy.
It has to do, I think, with altitude. Everything, because everything else is hairy. It's just the top.
It's
part.
up above. Yeah. Well, my dad at 92 still has a little bit going on here. So hopefully, I if I would do it, I think it would be awesome.
To shave your head, you mean?
Yeah. I've always kind of wanted to.
You never have?
No. My wife met me 19, I was 21 years old with the hair.
You had long hair.
Oh, I have Ian Anderson.
I saw your
I was like this, and that's the way she met me. And, and she
rock and roll.
Yeah. And she was working at the Musicians Union, Local 47 on Vine and Sunset and Vine, Hollywood.
Is that where you met her?
Yeah. Yeah. We went, interesting story. I went and talked to a buddy of mine who worked there, and she wanted to get in good with this other person. High school friend. And so she goes up and said, hey, who's that guy that you're talking to? She thought we were going out. So my friend calls me up and goes, hey, there's this really cute Oriental girl that blah, blah, blah. Boom, I get in my car, drive over the hill because I'm in the valley, drive back over. Yeah, how you doing? All right. And she was 19.
Cliff, and it would be most excellent if we went on a date.
Do you know where our date landed us on the 9th hole at the Wilson Golf Course at 1:00 in the morning, drinking a bottle of wine.
Dude,
that sounds like a
so
perfect.
Awesome. It's ridiculous. Do you ever quit being cool?
Isn't that cool though? That was a cool first date.
It's pretty. I mean, it's lasted a little bit, so I guess you made an impression.
This October is going to be 33 years. Yeah,
that's awesome.
People
look at me crazy when I tell them we've been 17. They're like, huh?
Yeah, but Jared, you wouldn't have it any other way, would you?
Oh God, no. Dude,
me neither. I thank God daily.
Years, like saying 50 years nowadays.
Yeah. She's everything. Absolutely everything.
Oh, dude, I love seeing your post when you guys go out, or when, I guess less now, but when you went out to dinner and you would share and you would travel, it was always so sweet because it's as well as I do. There's so much BS on Facebook.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of people who pretend, a lot of nonsense. When you meet someone and get to experience another human being, then you really, you and I especially, we have a good nose for bullshit. So it's nice to see people posting genuine stuff from how their lives really are, not doing so much pretending that everything's perfect.
Now, those pictures, we look a lot better in those pictures than we normally do. But but the love is still there.
The love is the connection. The love is the true thing.
Yeah, so. She's awesome. She tells me what to do, and I just do it. Yes, dear. You know why? Because she's always right.
I'm finding.
I count on that. I count on her to tell me exactly what to do. I've been going to the same store for 30 years. Okay, now you go down Coit, you make a left. In the second driveway, if you go in the second driveway, you can. Okay, I will. And I go in the second driveway, and there it is. Front door, and there's a parking spot waiting right for me. Thank you, sweetheart. Awesome.
Jared?
Jared?
I got a huge list of
Oh
questions.
yeah, I do have one. You've got so
Huge
many
list.
cool, awesome, amazing stories. I want to know, what was your first crap job, or like the first crap experience?
Oh, I've had a lot of crap jobs. We all have had. I was, obviously from like 8 to 15 doesn't really count, right? But I used to deliver handbills door to door for a hair salon.
Oh, wow.
I washed dishes for Kentucky Fried Chicken.
That's where you fell in love with.
There's the KFC connection.
Oh, it was the worst. I would walk in there at 6 feet. I'd walk out at 6'3" because of the crap on the bottom of my shoes.
Mm-hmm.
I washed dishes, man. It was terrible. I did during the summer. I used to be a bag boy at Fedco. If anybody is an Old Valley person, they know Fedco. I flipped burgers at Tommy's Hamburgers for 4 days to make enough money to buy my first guitar on my own.
Awesome.
I called all my friends. I said, free Tommy's burgers, man. I would give you
That's
5-stack, 6-stack burgers. All my friends. I was only there 4 days. I needed $300 to buy my first guitar. And after that,
no more crap jobs.
Was pretty much no. Then college, and then right out of there was an ad for a recording studio on a bulletin board, and a tech bulletin board. And I grabbed it, and I went down there, and I got the job, and continued education while working in the studio. But yeah, after 17, it was all studio crap. Yeah, cleaning toilets in a recording studio, barf and all that stuff. That's crappy.
Yeah,
but dude, crap. I'm at Davlin Studios on Lancashire, right, in Universal. That's rock star barf.
Certain jobs you're willing to put up with a certain level of crap.
Clean it up. That's right, Steve. I'm cleaning rock star bars. I got some stories. You don't want them to barf in the patch bay.
Halen, huh?
That's right. Barfing in the patch bay.
It's a no,
and it has been done. And I sat
I've
there.
got one more question, and then
Yes.
I want you to give me some information, and then I will let you go and enjoy your evening.
All right, buddy.
I know what it is, but I want you to tell everyone else out there in TV, internet land, what it is about your experience and what you do personally that make your demos so special, and why you are at the top of your game in automotive, and why you are who you are in the automotive industry. I know, sorry, but I mean, it is what it is.
Demos, I think my demos are cool. I'm the only one that works on them. So I write the script, I direct, I edit, I mix, I master, I sequence. So I take full responsibility.
That's awesome.
I love Monday's my favorite day. My heart's racing Monday. I can't wait for Monday morning. Got a stack of work to do. Every spot that I do, I think I'm going to make it as good or better than the spot I just did. I'll settle for as good, but I'm always shooting for a little bit better. I love technology. I've been so fortunate to always have the tools that I've needed. Back in the day, old analog gear, had it all. Today, I'm surrounded by, thank you, Sweetwater. Thank you, Synchrony Bank, for your 48 months no interest. By the way, with 48 months no interest, I just bought my brand new Focal 6.5 space monitors.
I saw that.
Because my Solo 6 blew after 6 years. And I figure it's okay. It paid for itself after the first couple of months. And 6-year-old monitors, doing Ford F-150, and when the tents go up, the prices go down. They take a beating,
World of wheels.
Yeah, so after 6 years, I think they're fine. But I love these speakers. Oh, my God. And the technology in the last 6 years has gotten a little better. So, they weren't cheap, but oh, my goodness, I absolutely love them. So getting back to your question, passion for what I do.
Absolutely.
I take every single client that I work with and I make it personal. I have a thing called post-demo withdrawal depression that we all go through, and it's awful, especially with the ladies. We're in each other's head, for a week. When it's over and I deliver, it's like, well, now what? Well, we'll still talk and we'll do auditions and stuff like that. But, my dad taught me, and it's kind of cliche, but I like it. He says, under promise and over deliver. But I think really to answer your question is that I just take everything personally, you know, and if my name is going to go on it, I really, really try to make it the best it can be for the person that I'm working with, and something that I'm proud of, and something the person that I'm working with can be proud of.
I think that is a fantastic answer. You dodged the bullet. Way to go.
I was reading it on the back of my hand.
Man, I can't tell you how much fun this has been for me personally.
Oh, thanks. Me too, you guys. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
One more thing. Can you please tell everyone where to find you? Where's the easiest place to find Cliff?
Easiest place to find me is for everybody, if you're watching this, if you know the culleyfoo@airmail.net address, dump it. 25 years, it's gone. The new address, czellman10@gmail.com. czellman10@gmail.com. You know, it's funny. 5 years ago, if you had a Gmail account, you were, you know, wonky. Now it's like, well, yeah,
You have to have a
it
Gmail.
works with everything. And, you know,
Right.
I mean, I'm Mac and Gmail, and I'm giving up all my freedoms, and the CIA knows everything I do, but I'm pretty boring anyway. You know what? If they want to know the best deal they can get on a Ford F-150,
Yeah,
they can certainly come to me.
They know enough.
Buy on me. If you want to check out my website, which is kind of fun, is a-mazingdemos.com. a-mazingdemos.com. And it's all there. I'm not that hard to find. Cliff Zellman in Google.
No, you're pretty
That's
easy
awesome.
to find.
Yeah, I'm lucky to have a somewhat odd name. But I'll tell you what, I'm thrilled that Brad Pitt's name was Cliff Booth in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. If y'all haven't seen Once Upon a Time
I
in
have
Hollywood.
not yet.
Oh my God. If you didn't grow up there, you'll just really like the movie. If you grew up there, you'll be out of your mind I knew every single block,
Spot they went to.
every
I
single
see.
scene in that
Yeah,
movie.
No, I would be familiar. So
Every DH93 KHJ, and they had George Putnam, Channel 11 News. I mean, it was so great. So Brad Pitt's character was named Cliff Booth. So finally, I'm no longer the guy from Cheers, you know? Or the Big Red Dog.
Right.
Somebody cool actually has
Clifford, yes.
Yeah.
It's an awesome dog.
Well, thank you so much, Cliff, for being with us.
Oh, thank you.
Hi, everyone. We forgot to end the show with Cliff because we were so into the interview talking with Cliff. And if you've ever talked with Cliff, you could see how things may or may not get away from you. Excuses.
Go
well. Thanks for tuning into VO in Stereo. As always, I'm your host, Jared Breshers. This is my super co-host.
See you in Coghill.
And down here will be a picture of Cliff because we didn't want to bug him and be like, we are stupid.
We screwed up. Sorry.
Right. It's only going to happen once, I promise.
Yes. Thanks for showing up anyway.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Well, everyone, thanks again for coming, and we'll see you next time.